Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to Risk Media. We thank you for being here. Today we're going to look at 2027 elections, and why is it that political analysts, they are trying to compare it to 2002 and 2007 election. So here we're going to look at some of the factors that they are trying to compare with, and why is it that it's going to be very, very different from other elections. First of all, we're going to look at Raila Odinga's passing, because we know that he has been a factor in these elections, and he was the strongest opposition leader in the history of Kenya. So we're going to look at how it is also very difficult to be able to determine whether is it going to be 2002, because it was all about regime change, and 2007 election. So it is going to be very, very, very difficult to be able to know exactly how the outcome may be in this year, in 2007 election. 2022 election was all about dynasty. So it was all about hustler versus dynasty, that was the notion that was there. So next year is going to be a more difficult to predict, but we're going to look at some of the factors that they are looking at. So first of all, just as I said, Raila Odinga passing. So he has been the most predictable actor in terms of opposition leader, because at all these elections we've always known that he will be in the ballot. He was the face of the opposition. He knew how to mobilize. His party was the strongest in the Republic of Kenya. So again, another factor is rise of the tribeless, leaderless youth demographic. Gen Z effect. We've seen how the Gen Z were able to mobilize over the years, and the way they are able to mobilize online, it is faceless. So the effect is also going to be there. The smartphone driven, TikTok, Facebook, it is actually leaderless, and their voices have also been heard. So in 2027, Gen Z effect is also going to play a major role, and that has never been the case for the previous elections. So this one is going to play a very, very major role. We've seen Gen Zs, mostly they are aligning with Edwin Sifuna, because they're able is also young, and they are trying to align with him, mobilizing online, and driving him to also be able to vie for presidency. So the Gen Z effect is also going to play. Another factor that will also be looked at is actually severe economic infrastructure and performance. Now we saw how currently leaders are being put to accountability, because we've seen that now people are now auditing your performance for the years that you've worked. We've seen in the county level, Kenyans are now very, very intelligent. They are now questioning when it comes to accountability, when it comes to resources. They're also questioning in terms of devolved function, in terms of how their resources are being used after the allocation from the national government. So the factor of accountability and performance is also going to factor in. They're also going to look at that, because at the end of the day, if you've not been able to deliver, and in this case, I'll just be able to say, for example, Wamatangi in Kiambu County, we've seen his track record. People on the ground, they're able to also associate with him because they see what he's able to do. Didi Nyoro, we've seen how he's able to deliver. So these are some of the things that will also be able to determine how people will also be able to vote. Economic realities that is there, because we've seen that tough economic now it is there. Economic times, it is totally very hard. We've seen the effect of the the war, Ukraine and Middle East war with Iran. We've seen how it has been. Fuel prices on the rise, and then we've also seen education. Actually education, it's it has now become very expensive. We've also seen medical, where now people are also when people are also looking at healthcare, it is very expensive. So when it comes to economic, people are also looking at how economy has been, and so economic realities, people are also going to look at that. Then aggressive accountability, those are some of the factors people will also be looking at. Then another factor that people will also, Kenyans will also be looking at in terms of radical political realignment and fractured stronghold. So we've now seen regions, they are now realigning. We've seen Mount Kenya, DCP is now taking over as the strongest political party within that region. Rift Valley, we know this. We've seen that UDA is also a stronghold in that area. Western region, you've seen now people are now aligning with Sifuna, Linda Mwananchi, because now we're saying regional alignment when it comes to politics. We've seen now again, coast, it has always been ODM predominant, but due to Linda Ground and Linda Mwananchi factions, we're also going to see how politicians are now realigning themselves, because now we do not have Raila Odinga effect. So now we expect that politicians are going to realign themselves in a position where they can now be able to win. They are trying to align as per their regions, and also we say it's Sauti kwa ground in terms of what people also believe in. Is either you're supporting the current regime, or you're also not supporting the current regime. So electrical frameworks and institutions is also there, and in terms of this, it's actually the trust that people have with now the IEBC. We've seen in Olakalau, people are now protecting their votes. After casting their votes, they're now making sure that they are not going home, and make sure that they protect their votes to make sure that it is not being rigged. So this is also going to play a fact, and you know, this one is also going to be in terms of the security, because at the end of the day, we know we have electrical laws that are there, election laws that are there. So we expect that also citizens, Kenyans, should also be able to know, because if it's in terms of protecting votes, you're not supposed to mobilize very close to the polling station and tallying centers. So these are some of the things we'll also be able to factor in as we head into 2027 general election. Security at large. We've seen political analysts are saying that 2002 it was very peaceful, and politicians united to remove the regime. So we've seen similar characteristics as we head into 2027 election, because at the end of the day, people are trying, the opposition, they want to make sure that they realign themselves together, they remain united, so that now they can be able to vote out the current regime. So, and that is exactly what happens in 2002. In 2007, in terms of security, and people actually have, because now we've seen now regions, we've seen in the previous years, we've never seen like mobilization, demonstration in Western, in Mount Kenya region. But now you've seen now it is now coming up. So regional realignment, it will also be able to play key into this, and that's why political analysts, they are saying that there is high risk of violence just compared to 2007 general election. I know that we might not head there, but people are trying now, because now they are saying that if the regions are now united according to the stronghold how it is, then there might be also be possibility. Then you've also seen the factor of the goons, where now politicians, they are using goons to instill also fear to the oppositions and to the opponent, and just to make sure that they win. So, and now we've also seen now the voters in general, they're also saying that they will make sure that they also secure their votes. So we've seen that there is characteristic between the 2002, the way it was in terms of uniting towards common goal, which the regime at that time, which was Moi regime. And then in 2007, it was all about regions and making sure that in terms of the security and everything. So we now seeing the characteristic in terms of violence, the use of goons, insecurities in some regions. We've seen some vehicles, of some of the politicians, parastatal, being linked to this violence by attacks by goons. So let's see and how it will be, but we've seen similarity in terms of how the 2002 election was, as well as how 2007 election was, and we've seen similar characteristics in terms of realignment, in terms of security, in terms of regional demographic uniting and making sure that they vote as a bloc when towards to 2027 general election. I don't know how you think it. In your view, do you think that 2027, which is next year election, is going to be compared to 2002 or 2007 general election? So here we're focusing on security and politics, because at the end of the day, we must make sure that we keep you updated on the current trend and how it is, so that you can be able to prepare yourself accordingly. So stay here at Risk Media. We'll continue to monitor the situations and be able to also update you on how it is. So thank you.